Joining me now to discuss the ramifications of this impeachment trial, Sheriff Bill Waybourn from Tarrant County, Texas. Sheriff, I really appreciate you coming on. So we are now at the end of this impeachment process, and we're starting to see a little bit more about the big picture, really what the American people have been thinking about this entire time. In the past, polls, like whenever something's happening in the news, those people are usually talking about polls that have been conducted 2 weeks prior, something like that. So here we are, wrapping it all up. What's been your take so far on this impeachment saga?
Well, I think of course, it's been a sham of an impeachment, quite frankly. There is never a law broken. This is foreign policy that the president has absolutely the authority to conduct. And I believe that the Democrats have been, if you will, they have been flushed out, and a lot of things that have been secret, now we know, and the people are seeing. And I think the good American people are saying it is a sham. And I think that they're also seeing the policies of Donald Trump, and I think his popularity is going up.
And it's kind of been a running joke, actually, in conservative circles for a while that while Democrats have been focused so much on this impeachment process, whether it be in the House or now in the Senate, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has kind of been ramming through these judicial appointees. He's been kind of going through with his process. I remember during the impeachment inquiry when they were having those big televised events in the lower chamber, Mitch McConnell was pushing through district judge after district judge, which is his lasting legacy as well as President Trump's, actually. So you're someone who deals with judges probably on a regular basis. You are a man of the law. How big of an impact does this make on the country?
Well, you said it best a while ago, is that this is going to be the biggest legacy of President Trump and Mitch McConnell, is they have done an incredible job of getting these federal judges to the bench, and they are going to make a difference for decades to come. And, we've got the Ninth Court out there in California that hopefully they will have an opportunity to reappoint. And we're going to see the appeals court, and we're going to see pro-gun, we're going to see pro-life judges and pro-law enforcement people that will hopefully stabilize this country against the radicals.
And to that point, too, I mean, you bring up the Ninth Circuit courts. That's one that's been historically kind of a nationwide injunction type court. If you don't like necessarily that a conservative president is doing, you take it to the Ninth Circuit. The Ninth Circuit usually kind of shuts it down, and then you have to wait until it's either revisited, taken up by the Supreme Court, deemed to be moot, whatever it may be. It does get paused right there. So now Democrats are kind of looking at this idea of kind of trying to pack the courts, because the Ninth Circuit, by the way, is very close to being flipped. It's just a couple judges away. I mean, nobody thought that we would be saying that just a couple of years ago. It's a historically liberal court. But now here we see a lot of Democrat presidential hopefuls, 2020 candidates, talking about the idea of court stacking. What's your response to that?
Well, I got to tell you, that's exactly why we need to reelect Donald Trump, because this court stacking business is nothing more than the Democrats trying to make a play for their liberal agenda to say, hey, if we can't beat them in a traditional sense, we're going to go around that. So I think that the American people need to be wary of that. They need to watch that, because these people are snakes in the grass on some of this stuff.
And, when it comes to the idea, too, a lot of people don't like to talk about the political leanings of a judge. They kind of say that that's off terms, that's off limits. And I'm not making the point either that, for example, a Democratic judge can't be a phenomenal judge, the same way that a conservative judge can't be a phenomenal judge. For the most part, I really do think that judges strive to be objective, just good at their job. I think that's what comes first for them. But to ignore a political leaning or bias is ignorant. I mean, you and I can sit here and we can talk about a can of Coke right here, and we would both explain it a little bit differently because we're two very different people, despite it being a very similar object. Is this something that you think plays into everyday life, or do you think that this is something that we should try to ignore, kind of look past political leanings?
It would, in a perfect world, it'd be great to look past that. Unfortunately, these judges have records, and you can see where their leaning is, and it's like Roe v. Wade. Find that in the Constitution. Find that in the Constitution. And if these people are not strict constitutionalists, regardless of their leanings, then, we're going to get radical left wing agendas fulfilled.
Yeah, and I guess after the Iowa caucus, we're kind of getting a better idea of really who the president will be facing off about that. But a lot of the Democratic candidates have said that the idea of court stacking and reforming the courts is something that they're looking to do if they were to win office in 2020. But Sheriff, once again, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.